everybody. This is Chloe Hudson with World Peace Projects. Thank you so much for joining me. A couple announcements. I am now writing the long-awaited animal communication course. So if you are interested in learning how to or developing your skills a bit better, how to communicate to the animals in your life, please contact me, let me know. I haven't set dates yet. I'm going to write the course first and get kind of a feeler for who's all interested. And I'd like to ask you guys how long do you want the course to be? Is this a day you want? You want to do an immersion course? Are we going to do this over 3 weeks? How much information do you want? And how much practice do you want around it? I hope everybody's doing great. Thanks for joining me. Please like and share these videos. If you would like a personal session or coaching with me, please go to my website, worldpeaceprojects.global. So today I wanted to talk about the anatomy, if you will, of curses, hexes, this type of energetic attack, and why they happen, how to expel them or deflect them. And also I want to get into the biology, the anatomy, the underworkings of why this works. So a lot of this information, if you apply it, I hope you do. You may already know a lot of this. Theoretically, it works, though I want to help people understand the deeper understanding of why it works and how it works. I decided that I won't be going into advanced techniques, and the reason I'm deciding that is because all of them come with possible karmic retribution. And if you are not 100% clear that when you access the advanced techniques, that you are free and clear of your karma, of any initiation of other timeline karmas or hexes or curses that you've put on this person, then it will come back around to you. So I don't want to feed negative karma, and I don't want to have implications of negative karma by giving you guys this information. If you believe that you are at an advanced level where you should be applying advanced techniques, then this video probably won't apply to you. So I challenge you, if you already know at least 90% of the information on this video, then you're probably ready and already working with advanced techniques. If you don't know all of this information, then I humbly ask you to maybe learn a bit more, because there are a lot of hidden understandings around why curses are even apparent and here within your field, or maybe in your client's field in the first place. Okay, so what inspired this video for me today is I have been gazing at plausible future timelines, and I'm watching some potential curse energy formulating through a person I don't even know that may be directed at me. So I'm doing my due diligence to deflect it and dissipate it before it even happens. And I'd also know that right now there's a lot going on energetically and astrologically. There are certain signs that are currently more susceptible to curse energy and negativity. So this is my effort. I'm setting an intention as I give this information, offer this information, that I'm also offering spirit protection filtered through spirit, if you would like to receive it, in assistance to any possible energetics coming at you or in your field, whether you're aware of it or not. Okay. So how do curses come about? Curses can come in many, many forms, right? Common words that we know around curses is curse, hex, jinx. This can be a mesmer. A lot of times curse energy that shows up in your field isn't a conscious curse that's put upon you. So the person that is doing it, or the entity or the grouping, well, the entity is always consciously doing it, let's put it that way, but the human isn't always consciously doing it. In my experience, and all of this is just my experience and my perspective of it, so take what works for you, leave the rest. In my experience of clearing my own curses, of clearing curses coming at me, and realizing curse energy coming at myself or clients, they're not conscious. Okay, now of course, black magic can happen. We can set curses, we can spell cast, and that does happen. I'm willing to bet everybody has that within some point in their timelines, multiple times, what have you. But for the most part, the most common curse energy in general That frequency of energy is a subconscious energy set towards you through somebody's negative thoughts, their negative emotions. You can look at a good general baseline that instigates or creates curse energy are the 7 deadly sins. Anything that we think of as low integrity and sin energy, negative emotions, shadow emotions, all of these often have enough inertia to instigate curse energy that comes at you. So this can just be words of affirmation that are negatively based that you spit out towards somebody. This can be feeling ill will towards somebody, thinking negatively about them. All of this is enough to put curse energy into your field. And so some examples of this where I'm positive this was not conscious. One of the curses that I had found, or actually a practitioner that I loved to work with years ago had found in my field, and we found the curse energy, but then I'm using intuition to seek out who sent it, right? And my intuition flashes me onto a night that I spent in a hostel when I was traveling in Ecuador from the girl that was staying there and doing a work trade to offer yoga to the incoming hostel guests. That night, I remember I got ill out of nowhere and I had to go to bed early. I felt really weird and out of sorts, out of body type energy. And then fast forward a year or so later, this practitioner finds that curse energy in my field. Now, she was a sweet girl. I'm positive that she was not consciously sending me curse energy, but maybe she had some type of negative emotion. She was drinking that night. Maybe an entity came out in her and she, who knows what it was. I don't want to speculate. But for whatever reason, I was susceptible to it and I took it on, embodied it in that evening, and it lingered in my field for that amount of time until I found it. Now, I didn't stay sick for a year, but there was enough of an imprint of it to be uprooted and discovered that far after the fact. So these are types of things that happen all the time, right? And of course, everything that I'm going to say can be happening for other reasons, multiple reasons, though in addition, these can also be applied to possible ways in which curses show up. So another ways that curses are set, the how of them, is soul contracts. A very intriguing one that is very common, and all of these can be layered upon each other, is when somebody thinks ill will or has negative emotions towards you, or words of negative affirmation, events happening, often this can reactivate a dormant curse that you two have already engaged in another timeline. This is very, very common. I see it a lot. So that negative energy towards you and maybe the karmic looping that's playing out, which instigated the negative emotions or thoughts towards you, reactivates the initial or an acute curse that played out in the timeline when that looping started in the first place. And when that happens, it's highly advised that you track it back to the root, to that timeline, find the storyline and heal all of that energetics. Things that you probably already know about curse energy is negative entity possession or impulse. So something that I find commonly is that not always with the negative emotions or negative thoughts, that can be a bit as a detached kind of secondary energy, but any curse and energy that's set, there's always going to be a underlying entity or negative energetic grouping or what have you that's propelling it forward, that has some affiliation with that human or energetics subconsciously. It's usually subconscious unless they're consciously working with these beings. You know, and even if they are, they might be duped as to who the beings they're working with really, who they are, what they represent. Curses are also often implied subliminally. We saw a ton of this and still seeing it through the pandemic. This comes through music, adverts, TV shows, what have you, right? The 7 deadly sins and major things that we look at as sins are going to be surrounded like an energetic tornado of potential curse energy coming through that person that is utilizing that sin, that's activating that sin and engaging in it. And then there can be, you know, kind of subset of curse by association if you're affiliating with people that are throwing that type of energetic out there, and maybe you are an accomplice to the plan. You know, maybe you have a little bit of karmic residue because of gossip and you were the one hearing and listening to the gossip. That can affiliate you lightly with the energy itself as well. So ways that you can discover and register that curse energy is affecting you in some form or affecting others or your clients. And again, all of these things can be happening for other reasons as well. So it does not by any means mean that if you're experiencing something like this, it's a curse, right? Though it could be. So this could be you're feeling paranoia, you have concern, you're having flashing thoughts or images or suspicion around this type of thing. It may show up in your dreams, warning you or terrorizing you. You can obviously reveal them through healings, through divination. Symbology may be a part of this. Personally, I love receiving and often receive messages through animal symbolism. I've been having a lot of coyotes show up lately, which most of us that follow animal symbolism knows that's the ultimate trickster, right? It can also be how you're feeling emotionally, energetically, physically. This could be energetic entanglement. This could be something that is also you empathizing, if you will, or imprinted their emotional response towards you, but you're misconstruing the feeling with your own feeling because you're not recognizing that's their energy coming into you, showing up in your field, and you're assuming it to be yours. Or it could just be that you're feeling weird or negatively because that was the intention of the curse energy itself. This can also be if you know no one is around physically and you're feeling watched. This could be their energetic imposition into your field or your space, or the entity kind of watching or spying. Because a lot of times there is a lot of energetic or etheric imposition into your space. If they're wanting to throw this negative energy at you, they're probably pressing you energetically. So they're showing up in your field, whether they know that consciously or not. And it can show up in all forms, such as feeling tired, getting sick physically, energetically, ailments, outbursts of others randomly towards you. Maybe you're suddenly triggering all these people around you. You're like, what's going on today? What's happening? Is it a full moon? Right? This can be, you know, loss of money, loss of assets, difficulty in relationship, you name it. It can be all sorts of things. So curse energy can also fall under the experiences of you recognizing that you're being gaslit, that people are deflecting towards you. There's enchantments going on. There's mesmers going on. There's charms going on. There's fast actions or reactions towards you or from you to others, which seems quite out of character for you. There's projections happening all around you of other people imposing it into your field, and people are showing up with false masks. So these are just some of the general energies that fall under what I like to call curse energy. It doesn't have to be a very literal black magic conscious curse, because that's not always what I'm talking about, but that's absolutely a part of it. So if somebody is spell casting, whether consciously or unconsciously, into your field, and you have physical interaction with them, this can also be spotted energetically. You just need to be a bit more intermediate to do this, right? They will always reveal their hand, okay? So there will always be, if you know how to find it, some level of revealment to the plan. It's just the way it goes, because truly nothing in this universe is actually hidden. Though you have to know how to track and find these sorts of things. If you don't, I highly advise you call up a professional, or I would be happy to help you. I do this all the time, or utilize some form of assistance that can help you spot this type of thing in your field. Often your intuition is going to show you, and it might take you some time to register what is being shown to you, that it's actually your intuition, why it's happening, and what it means. For me lately, and this can depend on the entity that's possessing or backing the person throwing the energy at you, I'll see black sparks in my field. Sometimes I even see the etheric spiders lingering around. Sometimes they'll show up because if the person is astral projecting, and again, this doesn't have to be conscious, into your field, and actually it's easier when they're not consciously doing it, because when they're not consciously doing it, they're not being aware of taking, or maybe they don't even know how to keep themselves invisible as they're actually moving into your field. So it's very obvious, if you know how to look for it, when you can feel them, sense them, even see them showing up in your presence. And that's very much like the energy of somebody pressing into your energy field, just like how when somebody's looking at you, you're not conscious of it, you look over, oh, register they're looking at you, and then you can understand that's why you looked. Subconsciously you looked because your energy field felt them pressing into your field. That happens all the time. That doesn't mean it's negative, but that's kind of the way in which becoming aware of that type of registration is how you can identify it. So it's very helpful for me to look at curse energy as frequential, because when I look at it frequentially, that has a basis, a grounding that can be manipulated, dissipated, accelerated, utilized, what have you, right? So a concept that I would like to offer is a baseline to understanding and approaching how to view this and assist yourself frequentially is the plane of inertia, or the null point. I've talked about this a lot in courses and classes. The plane of inertia is the most magnetic frequency or energy, or kind of non-energy, if you will, in existence. When two magnets are attracted to each other, it is perceived in our mind's eye that the magnet is touching the other magnet, but that's not the case. What's actually happening is there is a, for us, invisible, right, plane of inertia. So there's a space in between these two magnets that is highly magnetic towards each magnet to the plane of inertia, the other magnet to the plane of inertia, connecting them to. It's called the null point. It is a complete frequency of neutrality, of nothingness, right? It is null. So it's the most magnetic frequency that we have access to. Now, frequentially speaking, if we're looking at that bandwidth, that range of bandwidth, and you think about the nothingness, this is where the forgiveness, the acceptance, the radical acceptance, the neutrality, the detachment type energies come in. A lot of people get triggered when we talk about acceptance, or they roll their eyes. They're like, oh, I already know this, click off, forgiveness, blah, blah, blah. So I want to talk about why, right? Because I think often when we think of these emotional practices, we're like, yeah, okay, that's spiritual. I know how to do that. I already have acceptance in my heart, things like this. Okay. That's one aspect of it. You can utilize acceptance and forgiveness to be a better person and assist yourself. But why are we doing it frequentially? Okay, because it is the most magnetic frequency in our accessed existence. So if we're looking to dissipate, deflect, overpower, dissolve, absorb, what have you, destroy, curse energy, the most efficient thing to utilize is the most magnetic frequency in our accessed existence. right? Because if you know how to utilize the most potent magnetism, then you can magnetize the intention that you desire, which is going to serve you, and it's required anyway. It's always going to be injected into any dissolvement, banishment, deflection of a curse. It has to be activated in some form. So you might as well utilize the base principle as your conscious foundation to dissipating curse energy. Does that make sense? Another reason it is super important to activate this type of frequency consciously in some form is because if you're not already in a space of neutrality, forgiveness, acceptance, detachment, whatever you want to call it, then you're most likely experiencing the energies of shadow emotions, energies, thoughts, which is probably what made you susceptible in the first place to attracting the curse energy. Because not all curses that come towards you are going to be effective. Not all curses can stick if you already have the protections set in place through that type of frequency. This type of frequency bandwidth in your field, you have the ability to repel the energy coming at you in the first place. So if you're on the opposite spectrum of the plane of inertia, which is going to assist you to neutralize and possibly stop in its tracks or deflect or project back out the curse energy in your field, however you're going to do it or however it's going to happen. The opposite end of that spectrum is highly sticky magnetic energy in a way you don't want. So all of these shadow emotions that can activate a curse in the first place, jealousy, envy, glutton, greed, things like this, all of those are strong enough to create potential curse energy, but they're also strong enough to be attracting it. So curse energy has to have somewhere to land in your field. Now, it doesn't have to be those types of more reactive, hate-filled, resentment type energies. It can be your victimization. It can be your sadness. It can be your vulnerability, your overwhelm, what have you. And that's usually where you're going to find the curse embedded, is some kind of shadow-based emotion or energy is where it hooks in. Same with entities. They need some kind of insertion point to grab hold. There's a lot of ways to approach it, but my preferred way is to do it through the emotional body, through my physiological, anatomical frequency. The more grounded I have learned over my 20 years that I can get in clearing the energy, the more it actually takes. Because when we approach it only from the etheric field, that is like me diving into the ocean and assuming that I'm going to be able to see and understand and know and feel everything around me in that universe that is not mine. But if I'm on home base in my body, in my emotions, right, then I've got the home court advantage. That's how I found it to be. And then you can work your way from the inside, because you want to grab it at the root anyway, pushing it out. Okay. If you are interested in learning much more advanced skills and training on psychic protection, go to my website, worldpeaceprojects.global. I have several different courses on offer of how to teach you these skill sets. So if you're in the experience of anger, jealousy, resentment, hate, bitterness, guilt, whatever it is, right? You're very sticky. It's going to grab onto you, and it gives you a reason to stay attached. Often on the shadow egoic level, one agenda of these emotions in the first place of our inner child or our victim or whatever, even if it's coming out expressed through anger, is like that anger is always the warrior, soldier, protector, blocking and holding guard of our vulnerability. Always hands down. Many people believe it to be a false emotion because it's more an action energy, right? It's more a movement frequency. So if you're experiencing anger or any of the range or subset of anger, you're absolutely standing outside of your vulnerability and your truth, because that part of you has been built through your ego and your subconscious to protect your more vulnerable victim inner child aspect. So you haven't even got to the root of the problem yet by any means, okay? But the thing about the anger is, just like any challenger, anybody who gets up and wants to instigate energy or is going to, be quick to fight or argue, it's very attractive. It's going to call in that same aggressive energy butting heads. It's also something that happens as a way to keep us connected to that situation, that person, what have you, that relationship. So if only we can stay connected through our energy, at least we're still connected and we didn't have to let it go. And if the curse energy is designed, whether consciously or subconsciously, to instigate this range of emotions or thoughts or what have you in you, the design in itself is meant to loop you back in and keep you attached to it. This is why it's super imperative to utilize some type of frequency of neutrality, because as soon as you can embody the neutrality, it drops the magnetism or the attraction of the curse energetics in the first place. It doesn't mean that's all it takes, but very often it is. So what are some of the ways that you can, in addition to finding your form of activating the plane of inertia in your field, what else can you do? Well, I often like utilizing the invisibility cloak. I call on fox energy, which is super amazing at being invisible. If the energy coming at you or you're feeling in your field is pretty minor, right? Often it's just enough to extract yourself from those people, even if that's just temporarily. Get yourself out of the situation. Pull your energetics out of it, right? So becoming invisible energetically or even physically is a great way to dispel the energy, because the more common type of curse energy is somebody that's just a negative person, right? Or they're triggered for some reason. They're looking to fire these energy darts at anybody around them. And if you're just not even there, you half the battle, right? So that's one way to do it. On the same lines of that, energetically extracting yourself out of the situation. So let's say you're going through some type of curse energy coming from some kind of passionate altercation or energy, right? Which is common. So this could be an intimate relationship. This could be a business partnership. This could be friends, family, what have you. This could even be, road rage. So a lot of times when we're passionately engaged and invested in the situation or the looping drama or karma that's bringing about the curse energy in the first place, we're pressing our energy into their field, right? We want to know what they're doing. We want to know what they're up to. We're ruminating and thinking about the negative thoughts, and we're chomping on it, and it keeps coming up in our thoughts and makes us angry and all of these things, right? So that means emotionally, mentally, energetically, you're pressing their field. Extract yourself out of their field, because the more you're pressing your energy into their field, the more they're going to be activated towards your energy. Because after all, they can feel or sense, or, in some, maybe it's not conscious, but you're already in their space. So in some way, you're giving them your frequency signature, and it's in their space. So it's going to bring it up, and it's going to keep charging it. This is very important to understand. Another huge component of what can be attracting curse energy is your fear or your paranoia or your worry or anxiety that it's happening. So fear is highly, highly attractive to attack, okay? Now, I'm not saying that to activate more fear around your fear. right? Let's just look at this logically. You're not in a PowerPoint when you're sitting in fear. Fear serves a purpose. Fear is often a wonderful tool and potential activator of your courage and your ability to get something fixed. Get it done, make a change, get out of this discomfort, right? The frequency vibration is so unsettling, it is meant to make you shift. Utilize that lesson, honor the lesson of fear, and shift your experience. Because if you're utilizing fear or activated through fear, and you're pressing your energy into their field, whether that's subconscious because you just can't get it out of your thoughts, or it's conscious because maybe you're energetically spying, right? Or you're astrally projecting. If you're wearing a frequency of fear or negatively based charged emotions, they're going to sniff you out in a split second. They might not even know they're doing it, but you're going to bring your energy into their thoughts, into their mind, and it's going to re-loop you. And I guarantee you, if you're doing that, the entity that's pressing them to throw the curse energy absolutely spots you and sees you. So reverting back to what I was saying initially of I was viewing potential future timelines as how I spotted the probable curse energy that's being created coming towards me, right? In that space, I'm acutely aware that I'm projecting my energetics into that field. So I'm susceptible to being seen or noticed. If I show up in that field charged or fearful, I know that entity is going to spot me, see me coming, and double down on what they're throwing my way. So I have to be very strategic about how I do it. I need to show up invisibly. I need to show up calm in a space of the plane of inertia, just viewing. I need to be totally pulled into my energetic self and barely peeking. This takes experience. You have to learn how to do that. So take care of how much of your energy you're pressing into somebody else's field that you already know is triggered and coming at you in some way. You might be egging it on, right? Radical acceptance is huge. If you can embody radical acceptance around these types of situations, you will dissolve and drop so much of the charge immediately. Ho'oponopono is a fantastic forgiveness practice. And what's wonderful about more intermediate or advanced techniques about Ho'oponopono is it often will reveal to you the karmic retribution. It will often reveal to you the initial rooting of the curse energy. So this is one reason that I don't want to offer intermediate or advanced techniques right now, is because it's so easy for us to move into a space of ignorance or self-righteousness around what we presume to be our justified upset around their energy coming at us. Because after all, from that current viewpoint, it's obvious to us that they are the aggressor. They're throwing it at us. Though, if you're not aware of other potential timelines where you and them have been contracting for lifetimes, and that this is actually happening possibly because of the negative karma that you have accumulated because of maybe curse energy you threw at them 2 timelines ago. Maybe you started this whole thing in another timeline ago, and now they're just coming back in to get their justice, right? If you're not aware that that's actually what happened initially, and you go at them instigating some type of active, conscious, advanced spell casting or whatever it's going to be, you're just going to double down on your karmic baggage. And that's so common because it can be precarious if you're not a professional or very experienced in it to track the timelines, to find the root curse energy. I cannot tell you how many times I've had negative energy and curse energy coming at me and I've tracked it, and I watch and view the timeline, and I'm like, oh, I definitely deserve that. Right? Sorry. And then I gotta clear the energy. My bad. Please forgive me. That was not cool. I totally get it. You know, if anything, maybe I deserve worse, but I'm real glad you like eased up on me. So that's super duper common, right? And it doesn't mean you're always the instigator. It could have been them too, but you guys have probably been going back and forth for timelines and timelines. That's so common. So it's easy for us to get up on our high horse and think just because this timeline or this moment is all we can perceive, and it's obvious right now that that was coming from them, that that's it. No, probably not. Usually it's not. I mean, I have to tell you, I have seen myself in other timelines. I'll track something and I'm super upset. You know, this is happening and how dare they? And I'll track back to what happened, totally expecting to see my aspect in that timeline completely victimized, to find that I have done the most horrible, grotesque, evil things to them that I'm like, wow, I can't even believe how creative I was in that timeline to think of something that dark, right? And that's how it goes, because most of us have played all the roles. And that humbles me so quick, and it happens time and time and again. And so one piece of the Ho'oponopono work that really strikes me, and I think I mentioned it in my last video, is it says something to the effect of, while I know that I am currently upset about the energy that you're throwing at me, I hope that you can forgive me for the past karma I have put onto you that has called this energy back to me in this lifetime. That's powerful, right? You have to really humble yourself out and take some responsibility around that. Okay, so as I already said, be aware of your energetic investment into their space. Another way to look at these negative thought forms and negative emotions that are inevitable for all of us, we all have them, right? But if we're constantly ruminating over it, we're kind of solidifying and binding these energetic contracts of negativity. So when you overcome a situation where it had a big negative charge and now you've found your peace, your forgiveness, you've done your healing, I highly advise you kind of take a moment to go back and, at least in your thoughts, around all of that negative buildup that you've been thinking about them or putting out there, and work to dissipate that. Ask spirit to forgive it, you know, because all of us have our ignorance and our negativity and our more minor sins that we're constantly moving through. So I find it really efficient to continuously and consistently, at least this is what I do. I feel super duper protected when I am kind of passively activating spirit throughout my day, asking for forgiveness of my ignorance and any sins or negative energies or karma that I may be imposing or bringing up simply because I don't know better. Because spirit is always there to assist and support and protect you if you're willing to be in the frequency energy of protection. Spirit requires you to take responsibility and acknowledge your faults, you know, your mistakes, aka equaling your sins, so that spirit can efficiently forgive you and dissipate it and clear it. Or rather, I think a better way to say it is so that spirit can offer you the platform to forgive yourself. Let's put it that way. That's a way better way to say it, right? That's more accurate. So we have to find that space of humility, neutrality, plane of inertia in our being to even come into a frequential alignment with protection. And it's very much in that space. When we feel justified and self-righteous and triggered, we're not matching the frequency of protection. We just aren't. We may still receive it, but it's more difficult for it to come around us and be super powerful and efficient. Okay, now ways in which you can assist yourself to clear curse energy. And I advise that you do multiples of these, compound it so it's more effective. We've already talked about a lot of them, right? Simply asking spirit for protection, finding your humility, finding your forgiveness. If you know how to do the work, go seeking out the soul contracts that are there between you and this individual or this grouping or whatever it is, because they will be there. Could be a super minor one, but you will find them. You need to dissolve these contracts and these bindings. Also, too, with the entity in you or in these people that might be pushing the curse energy into your field or receiving the curse energy, you want to look for the contracts, enslavements, agreements that you have with those beings, or however it is you're affiliating, and dissolve that too, right? If you don't know how to do that, I would be happy to assist you. You can look up my sessions or my courses, worldpeaceprojects.global. I find that when you do this work, when you go to sit and intentionally clear curse energy, it is helpful. And even when you're just going to view timelines and access your intuition, to have an empty stomach. It's easier, always easier for me to access that energy space in my intuition when my vessel is clean and clear. If you're dealing with something that is really intense and that you want to give a lot of focus, maybe you want to do an energetic cleanse or a fast for a few days. Drink a ton of water. Purify your vessel so you can have more acute, heightened, clear ability, so you can access these knowings much cleaner, right? Now, there are wonderful practices that are super easy. Okay, so let's talk about the super duper easy ones that you probably already know about, but I'll just give us a little reminder, right? I love frequential healing. I love utilizing that type of elevation in my frequency body. It's the easiest way, right? Put on the solfeggio frequencies. Utilize any type of app or machine that you intuitively feel that is trusted, that up levels your frequency. Use tuning fork healings, whatever it is, sound bowls, all of this stuff is super easy to upgrade your frequency. When your frequency is resonating at a higher ampage, I hope I'm saying that right, then the frequency of what's always going to be a low level frequency of curse energy, because it's darker, it's denser, it's heavy, you can already in that point potentially misalign with it. It can slough right off. It can't grab you. You're up here, you're down there, right? Basics. Ground, do some earthing, get your feet in the earth. A lot of times we hold on to the gunk and the sludge and it's just sitting in our field because we're not running the charge of our body. Drink a bunch of water, use the saltwater bath, make sure that your etheric field is running and flowing so you can cleanse that out. Look and scan yourself for energetic attachments if you know how to do this. So I love using anointing oil, frankincense and myrrh, two of my top favorites. You guys all know you can utilize Palo Santo, sage, what have you. It's endless, goes on forever. Another unique creative way that's really easy to do this is to purge the grimiest, dirtiest space or thing in your home or car. Clean it. Clean whatever is the grossest, ickiest, muckiest thing around you. This could be your fridge. This could be your shoes, right? Do some kind of physical representation of looking off the muck. Look, if you love feng shui, look to the, maybe you are having issues in your health department, right? Look at the gua on the bagua of the feng shui map and clean something in that area. Or if it's hitting your area of your, fame and reputation, clear that part of the gua. If this is an intimate relationship, do that. Whatever it is, do something that represents each aspect of your life. Utilize the elements. Create ritual space utilizing the elements. Okay, this could be going into prayer space. This could be doing one of these types of healings or modalities that you love or prefer. I often love to write intentions and then I burn the paper to release it into the etheric. I've been doing that since my teens. That's just something that I feel is really efficient for me. Okay, in the time where you're susceptible to curse energy or feeling you're dealing with it, withdraw yourself from watching or engaging into negative shadow experiences. Don't watch horror flicks. Don't watch seven deadly sin type shows or listen to music that's talking about horrible things. Don't activate and engage in, sex, drugs, and alcohol, right? Take some kind of energetic purge from it. Now, if you're in sacred sexuality, what have you, you could even utilize that to create protection around you. Do a spiritual cleanse. Utilize astrologically charged days that are auspicious and that will assist you to clear this. This is a very powerful one to do. I personally love doing that one. You also need to identify what type of curse is this. Is this ancestral? Is this karmic? Is this romantic? Is it financial? Is it friendship? What's the underlying motive of the curse energy? And that'll help you navigate how to uproot it. If somebody physically sends you something, so this is going to be more conscious curse energy or hex or jinx or what have you, don't touch it. Don't bring it into your home. Don't bring it into your car. Send it right back to sender. Light it on fire, neutralize, dissipate the energy. Do not touch the item that you perceive to be hexed or jinxed. And if you do, you need to cleanse yourself of that. That's an easy way to grab onto you. Also, there's power in numbers. Utilize and ask your trusted friends or your mentors, professionals, to help pray for you and assist you, whatever that is, right? There's power in frequency build. You can do this. And also trusting and being vigilant and diligent. So every day doing an energetic cleanse on yourself and a protection, finding your invisibility. Deflection is fantastic. Easy ones to do. Just think of, and if you don't have, Psychic 101, then think about Harry Potter, right? What did they do? He used an invisibility cloak. Put on your energetic invisibility cloak. If you want to deflect the energy, surround yourself with mirrors so it deflects it right back out. And then when you're done with those mirrors, take them down energetically, right? Now just register when you deflect and that energy hits them, they might get triggered because that's the curse coming back at them and they might experience it. So just be witness to that, right? Another very powerful one, and this is the next step after finding forgiveness, is finding deep, true, authentic gratitude for the lesson that you're learning and your ability to up-level your protection through this experience, right? You'll totally flip it on its head if you do something like this. Often you will find that when you are able to dissipate, clear, deflect, become invisible to curse energy, that the person, the grouping, the sender, they get real frustrated, but they can't really do anything about it, right? They might try to send it again, but you'll just deflect it again, and you'll be way more adept at it. So you might see them getting upset, and that's a time to not gloat, because that might attract it back, right? Just understand that for them, they're going through their own type of soul learning, and that is something that you've also gone through in some point in your timelines, and it's an important lesson for all of us. It's valuable, right? Clear the cords, clear the energetic cords with you and them through love, through dissolvement. Find them, right? Learn the lesson in this situation. If you're looping a karmic contract, it's imperative you learn the lesson. This came up absolutely to teach you something. So find it, because you don't need to just be doing band-aid work, clearing the negative energy constantly coming at you. Why does it keep coming at you? Why is it still coming around your field? There's always reasons, right? And please, please, please stay in your integrity. They are waiting and watching for you to fall out of alignment of your integrity, right? If anything, it is a time and a challenge for you to cultivate more integrity. I have to say, with my viewing of the potential curse energy, and I know why, and I know who, and I know how it's going to come at me, I have found so much peace and calm and understanding around it, it has really helped and assisted me to develop my radical acceptance in a lot of ways. And anytime and of course I do, but when I falter out of that, I got to swing myself back in. And I'm grateful for that, because this is really assisting me to make that a baseline in my foundation, not just a practice I call on when something's going awry, but I'm finally getting to a place where I think I can start utilizing this as a part of my baseline frequency. Because what a wonderful place to be, right? Always in some, frequency range of the plane of inertia, so that we magnetize what we want and we demagnetize and detract what we don't. That's a great place to be. It's important. Okay. So I hope this assisted you guys. If you have any questions about curse energy, and again, we're including charms and enchantments here. So these are going to show up as shiny things, right? That's going to look very different, but you can see through them. You can understand the false charge, the lack of authenticity in that, whether, that could be a lot of things. That could be love bombing. That could be gifts. That could be, it seems too good to be true type things, right? Offers of grandeur, whatever it is, right? This could be seduction. This can be, whatever, something enticing. Look at that too, because greed, gluttony, 7 deadly sins, just write those out and look towards them and see what aligns in your life with that. And also look for the grouping of the entities behind it. You're always going to find that, right? And you absolutely can clear the contracts or the enslavements around that. And when you find them, if you know how, you can look straight at them. They will see you looking at them, and you clear that through your knowing. This isn't about being cocky, right? This is about honoring and instigating your true sovereign will as a divine human, that they don't have any permissions or allowance into your field. Very important. And you clarify with them, just because you choose to interact or have with that human, that group, does not give the entities that are in contract or are enslaving or are affiliated or are tricking that human or grouping to access you. Be very clear on this differentiation, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day, guys. Bye.